Hey guys, how are you doing? Crypto Insight UK here, bringing you back another video. So I just want to start with this. I think this is extremely important that today could be a very, very big day for crypto today and tomorrow. As the Senate move forward on the Genius Act today, basically voting to pass this, and there's one last hurdle they have to get through where they don't discuss the vote. So he said, this is from Bill Haggerty, who's been quite a big proponent of this bill. He said, the Senate moved forward on the Genius Act. This is groundbreaking bipartisan legislation that will bring payments in the USA to the 21st century. The Genius Act skyrockets the United States with a digital payment framework and the fastest rails possible. It will ensure the US dollar dominance. Customers will be protected. For the demand for US treasuries will balloon to the tune of more than $1 trillion. And innovation and digital asset space will thrive in the United States going forward. I look forward to making history with my colleagues this week. And we saw the first vote for this. I don't understand exactly how legislation gets pushed through in the US, but there's 30 hours now essentially where I think this is going to get voted in, potentially, if it does, unless there's some sort of last minute blockage, which there was a few weeks ago, but now it seems, I think there was a 60-20 vote in favor of this going through. And I said, take a step back and look at this. Our asset class might not only be getting some legislation passed in the largest financial system in the world, but also might be about to get the nod for payments generally around the world. Basically meaning that anyone who's got crypto can pay in crypto anywhere they go in the world. Imagine how easy life will get in terms of, for us as crypto holders, if you can literally just bop your phone anywhere you go with stablecoin and just pay. It means basically whenever you travel to any country in the world, you can always pay for goods. Back in the day, you used to get charged ridiculous percentages on every single payment, transaction. And also back in the day before that, you had to get cash. You had to go to a broker and get some cash out, take the cash or whatever. With stablecoins passing, and if this legislation gets adopted around the world, or which it probably will, as they're trying to keep the dollar hegemony, it basically means that any merchant can just accept dollars. It's going to revolutionize the world of finance, in my opinion, and change things massively to the likes that we haven't seen before. But also, it's such a big step for us in terms of crypto. Look how far we've come. We've got this laws being passed around crypto for transaction purposes and payment purposes around the world. It's a first step in the direction that we think that the world is going in terms of general adoption, but I do think it's a very big first step. So I just wanted to talk about that. I think it's worth some big airtime to start with. After that, I do want to say, I am starting to lean more in the camp that we just continue from this price, and I'm going to just explain why. It goes against liquidity. So I'm going to show you the liquidity first, and then I'm going to come back and touch on my thought process. Liquidity is building below us still. Look, liquidity is still pretty deep here, but we have some liquidity building above us too. But we're still deep on liquidity, and we've been adding to this liquidity since since the bottom on the 19th of May at 102k, which is yesterday. We've been adding liquidity all the way, quite a lot in this area here, and we still have this liquidity down here that I talked about, 93, 94k yesterday. However, and this is a big however, it's starting to become consensus on crypto Twitter that this move has come in. I talked about this obviously on Friday. Today is Tuesday. At the time, people were just saying, I don't know what's going to happen. I think we're just going to send up. And I said, look, we're probably going to sweep the highs and the lows. I'd be looking for then a bullish divergence at the lows. And I said, this wasn't time-based. It's just the sort of structure that I'd be looking for. But I thought we'd then create a bullish divergence and probably head up from there. But now this has almost become consensus on Twitter. And whenever things like that become consensus, I just get more skeptical. So I think I'm starting to lean less towards this outcome. But as liquidity is showing, 80% of the time liquidity does get taken. So I'm just going to say I'm not ruling it out just yet because of the short-term liquidity. With that being said, if we go to that longer-term liquidity, like the daily time frame here, let's just remove, I'm not going to remove everything just in case it blasts off everything. The daily, we're seeing more and more liquidity build above us. Even more in the last 2 or 3 days in terms of liquidity to the upside. So if we do get a squeeze up to 110, we could very quickly be at like 111, 112. Oh, sorry, that's 120. Sorry. We could very quickly be, if we get up to 110, we could very quickly be at like 114, 115, 116, and very quickly again up to like 125, 130. And this is where things can get really, really exciting. I do think we're on the precipice of this. What I'm talking about is like this tiny movement here, potentially coming as low as like just to sweep into this area before seeing a move up here like this. And then I'm saying that because consensus is that we are going to do this sort of sweeping move before moving up, I think we probably more likely just start to head up like that generally now. Now, will I be right? Will I be wrong? Honestly, time will tell. But you can see yourself here from the amount of liquidity there is above us compared to what there is below. Yes, we do have some all the way down here at like 67k. But as I always discuss, some liquidity, some people win. Let's get rid of everything. Some people do win in their positions, and they make all this leverage here. Look, as you start to move up, it just starts to close out as people close their long positions. And again here, as we start to move up, all these traders won their positions, but then they start to close them out, either when they get scared of us coming back down, or as we get to the highs, they start to take some profits. And that will happen to this liquidity here, providing we don't come down and sweep the 68k sort of area. But I do think, as I said, more likely than not, and more often, like it's going to be sooner rather than later, in my opinion, that we start to get this squeeze out into this liquidity area. We'll be breaking all-time highs. We're knocking on the door now at 106k. And if we start to get that break, I do think it's probably quite an aggressive and fast move to the upside here, similar to what we saw in this period. That's what I keep saying, and I completely follow that through to right now. We discussed XRP, ETH, and ENA in the short-term trade that I had in ENA. Still on, luckily. Still got my trade on ENA, which is looking quite good right now. We put a trade on like this area here, like 35 cent. At 37 as of right now, so let's see what happens there. But the other thing that I really want you guys to pay attention to is Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance. Let's have a look on the daily time frame. We could be stalling out a little bit here. It would be nice to see us stall out a little bit. And if we put in a lower high, then I really do think that is at the top for dominance. But then I also think there's potential that we do close this gap between the recent high and the 0.3% extra that we needed to hit my like alt season box. Whether we do that now, whether we just don't do that at all, like this is all up for discussion. We need to just monitor this rather than anything else. If Bitcoin gets to break out, that's what we want. Everything else, we just basically sit back and watch. Is essentially what we're doing now, and add into positions if we get dips. I think it could be an exciting few days / weeks. We've talked about M2. Gold's down a little bit today, and that's why I think gold's actually up now. Take that back. I think it was down when I woke up this morning. Let's have a look. When I woke up, it's just pushed in the last few hours. Gold's still working out this level. What I said to you guys is, we lose this level, are we going to come back and back test that level and then reject that as resistance, and then hopefully pull back and see that rotation from gold into crypto? Potentially. It doesn't necessarily have to follow this correlation. That's just something that I'm personally looking for as a bit of a catalyst. And then looking at Bitcoin dominance, Bitcoin itself trying to push through all-time highs, and then what the reaction is going to be from altcoins in general if we get that. And also what's Bitcoin looking like structurally in the short term, which I've been reporting on. All those things we're still monitoring. XRP is just chugging along. It's doing the same sort of thing as it has been. We've taken our recent highs. We've now pulled back. Are we forming again like a higher low here for continuation, or will we come back and back test this previous area of strong support, which I've been labeling as like the DCA zone for XRP? On the daily time frame. Again, time will tell. I don't want to make the call on this right now. I did think that we would probably pull back based on the Bitcoin structure with the liquidity, but now it's becoming consensus that that's what's going to happen. So I feel more likely that we could head to the upside. Basically, I'm unsure right now. Things are looking exciting. I'm watching the stablecoin bill and other macro factors for catalysts as well, such as Trump being on the phone to Putin last night and trying to end this Ukraine-Russia war. let's see what happens. I really think that now's the time to be getting excited. Might not be much to do for the next day or so, but again, a catalyst could come at any point, and if we do get this pullback, don't expect anything below 94k at the very most, in my opinion, which is here. Maybe the sweep the lows there to 92, but realistically 100k is where I think that we'll probably just take that short-term liquidity and then head up from there. So that's what I'm looking for, and that could happen today, tomorrow, this week. With that being said, guys, if you did enjoy this video, please do hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with a friend. It would mean a lot to me if you would subscribe. It's free to do, and it helps me out a lot. Peace up, A-Town down, as Crypto Insight UK would say.